Hi. In the beginning, it all began with the truth. It quickly descended into lies. But the Lubavitcher Rabbi says an amazing thing. Why did the world begin in the Garden of Eden? Why did it begin with truth? If anyway, a lot of people, there's a difference between Christianity, I'm not trying to put anyone down, and Jewish philosophy is Christianity sees this like entity, the Satan, who opposes God. And there's a certain truth. In fact, pretty much all of the philosophy of Christianity is based on Judaism. But there are nuances, and these nuances make things different. And the difference goes as follows. In Christianity, the concept of that being is like he has a real essence, but really there's only God. Everything that exists can only come from God. So the Satan himself is a creation, is an angel of God to challenge man, because ultimately we need free choice. It's more complicated than that, but that's in a nutshell. So the story of life is that God was going to make the darkness. He wanted man to make the light. You see, the reason for existence is not because God needs existence. God doesn't get an ego boost from us. It's like a bunch of ants praising a human. It wouldn't make a difference. Rather, from the perspective of God, it's love. It's like, why do we want to have a child? Because we love the child. What do we want? We want the child to grow. For there to be growth, there has to be darkness. You cannot stand if you can't fall. You cannot succeed if you can't fail. You cannot grow unless you can disintegrate. And that's really the secret of life. In the beginning, God put man and woman in a garden. And he said, your job in Hebrew is la'avda u'lashamra. I want you, as Rashi explains, la'avda l'sakein. I want you to make this better. And there was once a doctor, a cardiologist that came to the Rebbe, and the Rebbe said, it's very important you talk to your patients about preventative health, eating healthy so they don't get sick in the first place. He said, you want me to make the heart better than God made it? The Rebbe said, that's the goal of life, to make things better than God made it, because God left it in a way, and this is what I realized today is very, very simple, very profound, is that the world was created in a way that either we're going to make it better or it's going to get worse. As God said, see, I've placed before you light and darkness. In other words, the nature of reality is atrophy. Things are going to get worse unless you make them better. The other thing God said is Lasham, you have to protect it. And that's what we have to realize in life. It's not about maintaining a status quo. It's rather about always trying to make things better. Because if you don't improve things, things begin to fall apart. Now you have to protect things, but ultimately it's not enough. And now we have thousands of years and we have history of civilizations, and all civilizations fall because they stop growing. They become complacent. As my wife said, the previous Rebbe said, in all good there's evil, and all evil there's good. And so the evil in difficult times, well, it's difficult, that's the evil, but it also makes you focus. You look at people that come into America, immigrants, and it's very impressive. It reminds me of the Jewish immigrants. They didn't complain. They got the job done, and before you know it, their children are doing well. But people born in America, myself included, things are good, suddenly you become lazy and stupid because you're not growing. And so the ultimate truth of life is that God gives us an amazing world that we can make it better. And that's the beauty of life, that you can improve things. If you're not making things better, you're allowing the evil to make it worse. Good luck.